What's up, Jackalopes? I'm Hope, and today I'm going to be building my November TBR. So this is the second month that I'm going to be building my TBR using a game based on Betrayal at the House on the Hill. If you're unfamiliar with Betrayal at the House on the Hill and you want an explanation of that, or if you'd like some more in-depth explanation of my rules for my TBR game, my first video of this from last month will be linked below because there's a full explanation over there, and I probably went into like too much detail if we're being honest, but you know, there's an explanation over there if you want any more detail. But basically, each month I pick one of the character tiles from the game and choose which side of it I'm going to use, which character I'm going to be, and that character's base speed is the number of books that need to be on my TBR. As I'm exploring the house, I come across symbols that prompt me to pick up event, omen, or item cards, which are now prompt, specific title, or modifier cards respectively. So with each card, I am either adding a book to my TBR or acquiring a modifier that will go with the next book that I add to my TBR. I continue exploring until I have the correct number of books on my TBR, or until I have completed the house, in which case that round ends, I get to fill my TBR with whatever I want, and play begins again the following month. These were the books that came up for me last month, which were The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, A Memory Called Empire by Arcady Martine, and The Secrets of Wish-Tie by Kate Saunders, which was the audiobook that I was listening to. This worked out really well last month, like way better than I anticipated that it would, so we'll see what happens this month, but I am excited to see what books the house gives me this time around. Alright, so this went really well for me last month, like surprisingly well. You know, I only ended up with 3 books I needed to read. I got all prompts, no items, no omens, so that went like way smoother than I anticipated. So I fully expected that this could go horribly wrong this month, but I suppose we shall have to wait and see. First things first, I need to figure out who I'm playing, and I did pull my character card already. I will be playing the white card, which has Professor Longfellow and Father Reinhardt. And I've decided I'm gonna play as Professor Longfellow. So my speed is 4, I'll need to read 4 books in November. It looks like we left off last month in the underground lake. So I think I will go ahead and continue exploring the basement for the moment. Can't use that one. There's a basement tile. Okay, we got the catacombs. And this will be interesting because it has an omen, and also because it has a requirement for crossing the room, and I've decided to abide by those requirements. If there's something that doesn't affect movement, I think I won't use it because we're not using like might or sanity that much. But go into this room, and this card has an omen on it, so I need to read a specific book for that one. Let's find out which one. Looks like In the Woods by Tana French. So right off the bat we got an omen card, which is interesting because I didn't get any omen cards last month. This omen card gave me In the Woods by Tana French. I have never read anything by Tana French, but my understanding is that this is a murder mystery that follows a detective who sometime during his childhood was a part of a group of kids who disappeared, and then he was the only one that turned back up, and he can't recall any of what happened to him at that time. And now, down the road, he's in the middle of his career, and he encounters a situation that seems to be connected to what happened to him when he was a child. So he has to confront his past in order to solve the mystery. That's everything that I believe I understand about this book. I am excited to read it. I do love a good murder mystery, even though I've never read anything by Tana French. We'll try it out. We'll see how it goes. So, because I've done that, I need to do a hunt roll. My omen counter moves up by 1, which means it's at 1, and I need to do a hunt roll. If I roll, and this isn't going to happen here, but just to show how it works, if I rolled less than the number of omens that I had pulled so far, I would then have started the hunt and the rules would change slightly. There would be a penalty for that, but, you know, unlikely right now, but I rolled 2, 3, 4, 5. So definitely not less than 1. So we continue playing for right now. Now it does look like you need to do another roll. I can do a sanity roll to cross the catacombs. And Professor Longfellow's sanity is 3. I don't know if that'll focus on him. Yeah. There he is. His sanity is 3. So I can use 3 dice to try and cross this room and continue exploring the basement. And I need to roll 6+. So let's find out if we succeed. 3, 4, 5. We did not succeed. So I think what I'll do is I will turn around and go back to the ground floor and explore there for a little bit. The next one is ground floor 1, and it's the statuary corridor, which has an event on it. You can do it. There we go. So let's see what prompt I get. Ooh. Favorite author. That's exciting. So then I got the prompt, favorite author. And for this, I've decided to read The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde, which is in this massive chunky collection that I have here. It's like 60 pages of this, I think. It's one of his plays. I don't remember the premise of that play at all. I just know that I really want to read it. And partly because it's Oscar Wilde, who I really enjoy. So that's all I really have to say on that one. I am looking forward to reading this one. I've been wanting to read it for a long time, and it gives me a good excuse to get out this pretty complete works collection that I have. I love this one, so that's that. Well, I think we'll continue along this way. So I need a ground floor tile, and I got a ground floor tile, and I got the charred room, which is another omen. Still in frame, it is. Okay, so. Oh, interesting. There's definitely a slant to the ones I'm getting here. So I've got Inspector for the Dead, or Inspector of the Dead. And then I got another omen card, which is interesting, but not unexpected. This one has added Inspector of the Dead by David Morrell to my TBR, and this is a historical thriller following an opium addict named Thomas de Quincey and his daughter Emily as they and some of their friends in Scotland Yard try to prevent the assassination of Queen Victoria. I wasn't sure what word I wanted there, it's fine. Their attempts to prevent the assassination are spurred on by the deaths of several other prominent members of society who are found dead alongside names of people who previously attempted to assassinate Queen Victoria. So they begin to believe that she might be the ultimate target. So Thomas and his daughter are trying to prevent that from happening. I don't know anything about David Morrell. I've never read any of his books. I've never read anything else in this series because I think this is a series. I feel like I looked it up at some point and this was a whole like Thomas de Quincey series. But I do love a historical thriller, and so I think I'm gonna like this. I don't know to what extent I'm going to like this, but I think it'll be an enjoyable read. I think it'll be a fun, entertaining read for November, which, to be honest, November is going to be stressful as hell anyway, so I may as well have some fun, quick reads in there. So my omen counter goes up again. Roll. Goodbye, phone. 2, 4, 5, 8, 7. I can count. So there is no haunt. We continue playing as normal. Don't mind me checking the rules. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So I need one more book. So let's we don't have any upper landing stuff yet. So let me go to the upper landing and see what we get. Ooh, that's exciting. So we've got the storeroom, which has an item. I'll have to work out this system with the focus here. But that means I get a modifier, so the next prompt I get will have to use this modifier. And it needs to be a book that has won an award. Well, in that case, I hope I get another event. Ooh, and I did. Cool. So, the chapel. Let's do that one here. So, I need to read a book that was borrowed. And then the last one was really interesting because I finally got a modifier, which is exciting because I was hoping to see what this was going to do when I actually got one. And I got won an award, and then I got the prompt borrowed. This turned out to be a little bit difficult to find something for because obviously pandemic is happening, so my options are pretty limited for borrowing, but I did look on Libby and I found a few possibilities there. I currently have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo checked out, and I have it through the beginning of November. and since I haven't read it yet, I could use that. It won the Goodreads Choice Award for Best Fantasy in 2019. If I don't manage to get to it before my loan ends, I think I probably won't be able to extend it because there are some other people waiting. So in that case, I have a couple of backups that look like they're typically available. There's not a lot of people, at least at my library, checking them out all the time. So those are The Wicked King by Holly Black. I read The Cruel Prince earlier this year, and The Wicked King won also a Goodreads Choice Award for YA fantasy. And then the other one is Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse, which won a Locus Award for first novel. So these, plus an ebook, are all of the books that I need to read in November. However, there are some books I would like to get to in November if I'm able to. So I've got a short list here of things that I would like to squeeze in, and I mean, by squeeze them in, I really mean carve out a large chunk of time for, because this list is just chunky boys all the way down. We'll see how it goes. The first book that I would like to get to in November if I can is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. This is the third book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, and I am completing my first read through of the series. I say first because I think it's likely I will go back and reread them. I have a lot of thoughts about them, I have a lot of ideas about the stories, about the books, and I have just a bazillion tabs. Actually, I think, you can see on my copy of A Court of Mist and Fury, just got this like forest of tabs. So I think it's likely, please go back on the shelf. I think it's likely I will revisit these books at some point, but I would like to finish my first read through, and I would really like to get to this one in November, in part because the last book, which is not technically part of the series, is kind of a bridge book between the first three and the next series that's about to start next year. The one I'm referring to is A Court of Frost and Starlight. That book is set during the winter solstice, and I would really like to be able to read that during December because that just seems seasonally appropriate. Next book I would like to get to is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, which is her newest book. It came out, I think, last week or the week before. It came out on the 13th. I don't remember what day it is. It's fine. And this one is a fantasy inspired by pre-Columbian civilizations, and it follows this woman named Ziala and her one passenger on her ship, a man named Serapio, as they are headed towards the capital of this empire. The capital is called Tova. And they are headed toward the capital at a very specific time when the capital is preparing for a major event, a major, I think, kind of ceremonial event that is also, in this instance, coinciding with a solar eclipse. So this is going to be a very big deal, and they're set to arrive in the capital at the time of the eclipse. I don't know what's going to happen, I just know that it sounds really interesting, and I keep hearing excellent things about this as people are reading it. So I'm extremely excited to get to this one. And a shout out to my lovely boyfriend who sent me this recently because I had talked myself out of pre-ordering it for myself, and then he sent me a copy, which was very sweet, and I very much appreciate it. And this is a very pretty cover. The last book I would like to get to, I'm going to keep emphasizing like to get to because I'm being a little ambitious here, but the last one is The Angel of the Crows by Catherine Addison, which is a Sherlock Holmes retelling, but add vampires and angels and fallen angels and things like that to it. It basically follows Dr. Doyle, or Watson's stand-in, as he returns to London after a war in which he was injured by a fallen angel, which apparently fallen angels become these like terrifying monsters. So he was injured by one of them, and he's being sent back to London, and he ends up befriending an angel named Crow, and they solve mysteries together. So it very much follows the format of the original Sherlock Holmes. My best friend read this and recommended it to me, which means I'm gonna love it because she has never recommended anything I didn't love. But she said that she really enjoyed this follows the format of the original canon, where it's several smaller cases that they're solving together, which just made me even more excited for it. Plus, like, murder mystery, plus kind of urban fantasy paranormal elements, plus Victorian London is like all of my favorite things. Plus Sherlock Holmes, that's another one of my favorite things. I have a whole collection of Holmes-related books, so I am very excited. This one and Black Sun are probably two of my most anticipated books this year. I'm super excited to read these, so I'm really hopeful I can get to them in November, but if I don't, they're gonna have to be read like quite soon after, probably December if I don't make it to them this month. Those are all the books that I am aiming to read in November. If you have any thoughts about any of them, or any books that you'd like to recommend that I read, please leave a comment, like and subscribe if you want to, and if you'd like to connect with me on social media, you can do that as well. Those links will be in the description below. I'm on Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram, but my Instagram is usually kind of dead, so Twitter and Goodreads are the better options. All of that said, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I also hope to see you in the next one. Bye.